Need to turn my mic on. Okay, here we go with the Canada First rally. But before I get into that, I wasn't planning on talking about the whole Charlie Kirk incident this week. Obviously, very sad news that someone was killed, and obviously thoughts and prayers and hearts go out to the family, his wife and children, parents, and whoever else he left behind. And I just wanted to say a few things, I guess, about Charlie Kirk before we got into the rest of this Canada First rally. Like I said, when I was thinking about this live stream, I was not really thinking about talking about Charlie Kirk at all. But then I realized, yeah, I do have to address the Charlie Kirk situation this week. Whether you love the guy or hated the guy, it really doesn't matter. Like, no one has the right to take someone else's life. So very sad that he was killed this week. And also extremely sad that people online were celebrating his death. And I shouldn't even have to say how wrong that is. Like, people, I can't believe that that actually happened. And it's like, what is wrong with people? And again, like I said, whether loved him or hated him, it's just wrong to celebrate the death of another human being. I mean, come on. Come on. And then I got realizing as I was preparing this live stream, because this live stream is going to be primarily about the Canada First rally that's going on tomorrow. And again, also tomorrow in UK, Tommy Robinson, big rally. It's going to be a massive protest in the UK. Australia, it's 5:04 p.m. here in the Eastern time zone in North America. So I believe that is going to be about 7 a.m. in Sydney, Australia, Saturday morning. So Australia is already like hours away from their protest beginning. But then I realized I needed to kind of address the Charlie Kirk situation because it is related, I think. Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat if you think it's related or not. Like, you have these opinions from either side, whether it's left or right. And so I mean, that's sort of where I'm at in the thinking. Oh, and by the way, because this is the Friday afternoon, yeah, I guess we're still calling it afternoon, right? We're not into evening yet. It's going to be the Two Beer podcast. So it's 5 o'clock somewhere, and actually it's 5 o'clock here. So there we go. Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat what your Friday evening plans are before we get talking about the Canada First rally tomorrow and United Kingdom, Australia, and probably wherever else. I'm not sure. And when I say the Two Beer podcast, I have two beer there. When I finish those two beer, this will be done. All right. So I guess first up, I'm going to get into what's going on tomorrow in Canada, in Toronto tomorrow at Christie Pits Park. And that is kind of my first. Well, you saw the thumbnail where I said, is this a good idea? And I'm in that question of, is this a good idea? I am referencing Christie Pits Park. So if you don't know the history of Christie Pits Park, I am not going to bore you with all of the details. I'll give you a little brief summarization. And as well as I'm in Toronto, I've never lived in Toronto, but I've been there enough times to know my way around. I have actually never been to Christie Pits Park. And it's my understanding the reason for picking this location, it's like a huge park with a nice sloped like venue. So it's a good place to have somebody speaking at the front and everybody can see. But the history of Christie Pits Park, Honestly, I reached out to Joe. We'll get into some of Joe's posts. I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce his last name, Andular, I think. I reached out to him on X with no response. I'm like, why did you pick Christie Pits Park? Like this does not seem like a great location. I didn't say that in the DM. I just was like, why did you pick Christie Pits Park? But knowing the history of Christie Pits Park, I'm like, this doesn't seem like the best place to have this type of rally. So the brief history is, and you can look up more on Google or go to AI or whatever and get a better understanding of the history of Christie Pitts Park. But primarily what happened there in, I think it was 1933. So you're like full on going in, like, I mean, obviously 1933 is still quite a ways away from World War II, but Nazi Germany is kind of picking up steam. And yeah, so there were massive protests and riots against Nazis in Canada, in Christie Pitts Park, in Toronto, in I think it was 1933. You can fact check me on that. Might have been 32 or 34, but for some reason my brain is saying 33. And so that's why I'm saying, okay, right now, everyone on the left is calling the right like fascist Nazis. I have a good friend on Facebook who has been calling me a fascist Nazi for weeks just for posting saying this is happening tomorrow, right? And I mean, he's a good friend. I like him, and if he's watching, he knows who he is. And he actually reached out to me in the DMs the other day, or I think it was just yesterday, and we had a great back and forth conversation of actually how many things we actually agreed on. So, we have to find common ground here, right, people? But I am very, 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 I guess, confused about the choice of location of Christie Pitts Park. Okay, beer break. Sip one, actually sip two, I guess. It's Friday. We're gonna have beer. We're gonna talk about Christie Pitts Park. We're gonna talk about the Canada First Rally. And just see what people think about this. So yeah, please jump into the chat and let me know what you think. Honestly, I do question the decision to hold it at Christie Pitts Park. And with that said, I do agree with a lot of what they want to, what their message is kind of saying. Like anybody in Canada, you see that nice, beautiful maple leaf behind me. I love that flag. Absolutely. I love that flag. I do have to wonder why they picked that location. But moving on from that, like I said, I do agree with a lot of their message and what they want to accomplish, I guess, which is basically, Canada first, Canadians first. Why are we sending money to Ukraine? Why are we, dropping aid in Gaza? Why why aren't we helping Canadians? Why aren't we helping, how many cities in Canada have tent cities? Like, right? Like all over the place. Tent cities, food bank use at its highest usage ever in the history of the country of Canada. So we have to wonder, like, why can't we help Canadians first? And not just not just the homeless, but like seniors, veterans, all that money going to Ukraine and elsewhere overseas in foreign aid. We could be building hospitals. We could be buying water bombers. How many water bombers do we need? How, like, forest fires every summer now. Forest fires every summer. Just unreal amounts of forest fires. Most of you who know me know that I'm not as young as I look. You might look at me and go, "Oh, that guy's like only 39 years old or 43." Yeah, I'm a lot older than that. And why can't we buy more water bombers? We need to buy water bombers to fight these forest fires. Or here's another great idea. Stop dusting the forest with glyphosate. Like, come on. What are you doing? And again, I'm sorry. I know I'm already getting off topic, but we'll do our best to stay on topic. And but I guess that's part of it, is going off topic and being on topic at the same time, if you know what I mean. Is that okay? We're sending all this money overseas for foreign aid for Ukraine, for Gaza, and I do sympathize with everything that's going on over there in the Middle East, in Europe, and I shouldn't even say Europe. Europe is obviously a great place. Love Europe, but I guess technically Ukraine is part of Europe, and even Eastern Russia is part of Europe. So I do like sympathize and empathize with what's going on in those countries, in those areas. But at the same time, and going back to the Canada First rally, I'm like, why can't we keep this in Canada? Why can't we help Canadians first? Why can't we, like, we're taxed to death. Every Canadian knows we're taxed to death. We're tax slaves. We're literal tax slaves. We go to a job, or perhaps run our own business or whatever, but we pay taxes. And then the money that we paid tax on, we go to the store to buy groceries, and then there's sales tax, and then there's property tax, and then there's, tax on tax. There's literally tax on tax. There was the carbon tax, and I think most of us know that that's pretty much coming back in the form of the clean fuel tax. The difference there is the clean fuel tax doesn't give us the rebate that the carbon tax had. So basically, they're like laughing. And when I say they, I'm literally talking about the county government. They're laughing their way all the way to the bank, saying, "Oh, okay, we eliminated the carbon tax, and now we're going to give you the clean fuel tax. The difference is, we were giving you a rebate before, and now we're not giving you." Beep, beep, beep. I'm just editing myself out right now. Okay, another sip because it's Friday evening live. Come on, guys, jump up in the chat. Let me know what you think about anything. Okay, we are gonna jump into more of the Canada First rally, and then obviously we're gonna talk about the United Kingdom, Australia, many other countries as well. Jump up in the chat, please. I guess first, what I want to show is from I think was it 2 weekends ago? And I think, is this it? Is this the one I want to share? I think it is, and I want to full screen this. And I'm going to play it actually. You can, like, wow, okay, look, Ireland, Germany, France, Poland, Britain, Australia, Spain, Austria. And in this same weekend, I think it was 2 weekends ago, there was also New Zealand, Japan, and I'm not sure where else. But oh my goodness, right? Like, all these countries sort of rising up saying it's time to take care of our own first. And I honestly, I posted this on Facebook or X or somewhere saying, well, like, when is Canada going to step up? And I actually, not on X, but on Facebook, I got a lot of hate for saying that. It was like, really? Like, we're just trying to, like, think about our own here, really, right? So, and this is going to happen again tomorrow. Like I said, it's already I think 7 a.m., 7:15 a.m. in Sydney, Australia. Obviously, Western Australia is in a different time zone. So the Australian rally that's going to go on tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon. It's already just hours away. Honestly, I was kind of hoping with the time zone that it would, like, be live right now, but we're not that lucky. So, and then obviously the big thing is the UK. Tommy Robinson. If you don't know who Tommy Robinson is, definitely look him up. He is a captivating character, to say the least. And we're going to take a look at, actually, Joe. Honestly, I do not know how to pronounce his last name. Joe Anidar Anidyar. He is the, I guess I want to say, leader of the First Canada First rally that's going to happen tomorrow in Toronto. And I'm going to pull up his X profile here. And right away you see, okay, first, how do you pronounce that? Joe Anidyar? I want to believe that J is silent, right? Anidyar. So right away he says, see you all Saturday. No retreat, no surrender. It's our time. Canadian flag. Okay, I can agree with this. Yep, sure. And then, okay, he just happened to repost something about Charlie Kirk earlier this week because, well, why wouldn't you? Another thing, Kirk here in his repost: Liberty students gathered to mourn the death of the one and only Charlie Kirk. May he rest in peace. And I agree with this. I'm sending my deepest condolences to his family, and will keep them in my prayers. So yeah. And then actually another one about Charlie Kirk, because obviously that dominated the news earlier this week. But here's Tommy Robinson, 1.5 million followers on X. And Tommy Robinson, at the core of every woke leftist, there is a monster ready to take action using any means necessary in order to silence the truth. We are in a spiritual battle. Of that, there is no doubt. R.I.P. Charlie. And we're just going to keep moving up. Andrew Tate, I absolutely hate that guy. But again, as much as I hate him, I don't want somebody to put a bullet in his head, right? Like, and honestly, I'm not even going to say it because it'll get clipped and then I'll be, but you know what I'm thinking. You know what I'm thinking, right? If you know what I'm thinking. Andrew Tate is the worst human being on the planet. And if anyone doesn't agree with that, you're wrong. uh, okay, again, Joe. And again, at Puck Daddy 93 on X. I want to make sure. Okay, yes, I am sharing this properly on the live stream. Sorry, I'm just over here doing my own thing, making things will never be the same out here. This is the turning point, and that was September 11th. So that was the day after Charlie got shot. Also, September 11th, fear no man but God. See you all Saturday. September 11th, check out my conversation with Greg from AM 640 Toronto. Actually, I did not know that was happening. We talked about the upcoming event. T. Robinson, New era impact in the UK, mass immigration, counter protests, and measures put into place to keep the Canadian people safe. What a conversation. Definitely go take a listen. May Patriots rise on September 13th. And honestly, right there, I think that is a big part of it. We're going to take another beer break here. Gotta love those beer breaks. Gotta love those beer breaks. Okay, where was I? Where was I? May the Patriots rise on September 13th. And you have to wonder, okay, what does that mean? I guess, what does that mean? I'm a very patriotic Canadian, as you can see by that giant maple leaf behind me, right there. Right there. I've got, and I don't have that maple leaf up there to like disparage or diminish any other country. Like, if I was American, I'd have the stars and stripes there. Or if I was British, I'd have either the Union Jack or St. George's Cross or whatever right there. Or if I was Italian or whatever, I'd have that flag there. Or if I was Australian, I'd have that flag there, right? So I happen to be Canadian. I like to think of myself as patriotic. I love my country. I've been to so many places in this country. So, like, and it's a absolutely beautiful country. If you're not from Canada, highly recommend coming and visiting and taking a look around. It's like one of the best places on earth. But we'll keep going through Joe's Twitter feed here because I do want to get up to, and I have not watched this yet, but I do want to react because when we get up to the top, he's got a pinned post. Goldie, jurist, doctor, ex politician, political analyst, human rights advocate, raising awareness on Iran. Yes, Goldie was a MPP in Ontario. I believe she was born in Iran and had the luck of being able to escape Iran and come to Canada. So check out my conversation. Okay, we already read that part. Now this is the part that if you haven't seen this one already, I'm going to click that open so you can see. And this is Charlie Angus. I, honestly, I want to ask Charlie Angus if he can pick the date and time where he went clinically insane because Charlie Angus is now insane. Charlie Angus used to be a decent guy. He was for the longest time an NDP, New Democratic Party member of Parliament, so MP for Northern Ontario. For I'm not sure what the riding was called in Northern Ontario, but Charlie Angus has gone insane. He's gone insane. The racist hate mobs are coming to Christie Pits Park on Saturday, September 13th. No, they're not the racist hate mobs, you retard. I'm sorry for using that word. The choice is provocative. This is where people fought the Nazis in Toronto in 1933. So, yes, I did say 1933. There will be a huge rally in the park this Saturday at noon to show the haters they aren't welcome. Christie Pitts Hardball League. So basically, the opposite team, if you want to call them that, or the anti-protesters, are being encouraged to bring baseball bats. That's not peaceful protest. That there's no baseball game happening in Christie Pitts Park on tomorrow afternoon. There's no baseball game. So if you're telling people to bring a baseball bat and it's the hardball league, you're just an idiot. Charlie Angus, go away. And then this is well, you saw it in the thumbnail. This is the I guess the original poster for the Canada First rally. Stop immigration, start mass deportation. Remigration, remigration. If I can speak English, remigration is necessary. And again, I do wonder about the location of Christie Pitts Park, but that's again. So this is the part that okay, and Tommy Robinson again, UK with the 1.5 million followers reposted this from Joe and NDR. I'm sorry, Joe, if I'm butchering your name. I do apologize. Let's do this for our country. Let's do this for our people. Let's do this for our culture. Let's do this for our vets. Let's do this for our families. Let's do this for our children. Let's do this for our future. Let's do this for a better Canada. Let's do this, Patriots, Canada first, Canada first. And honestly, I don't disagree with any of that, right? Like, I do not disagree. And then again, sort of Tommy Robinson and Joe going back and forth with their reposts of each other. God bless our patriots, or God bless our country's patriots. Good, good. All united against Islam. Agree, yes or no? Honestly, I am not a fan of Islam. I do not believe it's a religion. Well, it isn't a religion. If you think Islam is a religion, you're wrong. It's a cult. It, and it's a violent cult. It's a problem. Okay, another beer sip. Canada is ready for Saturday. Canada is ready for Saturday, September 13th, London, September 13th, Australia, September 13th, Canada. It's time to save the West. And then this is another one for Charlie. And then a newer poster, September 13th, the Patriots will rise. We will change the political opinions in this country on Saturday, September 13th in Toronto. It's going to be a historic day. That's possible. Okay, and here's the pin post that we're going to get to actually. And like I said, I have not watched this.
This is a time for Canadians to put up.
I have not watched any of this yet. So this is going to be, I guess, a little bit of a reaction video as well. I've never really done a reaction video, so I guess we'll just see how that goes. What tab was I on? Uh-oh, what did I do? Did I close the link? Yeah, view this tab. Okay, there we go.
Us in the forefront and to protest about Canadian issues like mass immigration.
An Ontario father is against unchecked mass immigration, prioritizing Canadians as record high immigration strains housing, healthcare, and social systems, increasing fraud, crime, and exploitation that put Canadians at risk, from undermining job opportunities to eroding community safety and cultural cohesion. Joe Anajar has started the Canada First movement and has taken to social media to plan multiple rallies throughout Toronto, the next of which.
Okay, sorry, I was figuring how to pause it there. I need to go back.
Prioritizing Canadians as record high immigration strains housing, healthcare, and social systems.
Yeah, so that was the part I wanted to react to, the straining of the housing. Primarily the housing, I guess, right? Like, obviously, Canada has been letting in way more people than there are roofs to go over those heads. So you let in, 1 million people from whatever country, and you have 25 houses. Well, they're not all going to fit.
Increasing fraud, crime, and exploitation that put Canadians at risk, from undermining job opportunities to eroding community safety and cultural cohesion. Joe Anajar has started.
Joe Anajar. So the J isn't silent. Don Cherry. Huge shout out. Love Don Cherry.
The Canada First movement and has taken to social media to plan multiple rallies throughout Toronto, the next of which is scheduled for September 13th at Christie Pits Park in Toronto.
Again, I just have to say I'm questioning the location. There are tons of places in Toronto, and I do have to, we already saw, the history of Christie Pits Park. Is that the best location? I don't know.
अगर आप जीटीए में रहते हो तो टोरंटो डाउनटाउन के इस एरिया में 13 सितंबर को जाना अवॉइड करना क्योंकि अब.
Of course, this hasn't come without pushback from the so-called diversity and inclusivity lovers like Toronto City Councillor Diane Sachs, who released an official statement calling this a hate demonstration and tattling on it to the Toronto police. NDP MP Charlie Angus, self-styled as the Resistance, has labeled Canadians worried about the nation's direction.
Again, Charlie Angus, when did you go insane? Like, I want to know the exact date. Like, was it July 12th, 2022? Like, I want to know the exact date Charlie Angus went absolutely insane.
As race haters, championing Canada's diversity and inclusion legacy, yet seemingly ignoring how liberal policies like the fraud-riddled, mismanaged temporary foreign worker program exploit and marginalize vulnerable Canadians.
The temporary foreign worker program, oh my goodness. Oh, let's just keep going.
When I talk to businesses around the country, especially particularly in Quebec, but elsewhere across the country, their number one issue is tariffs, and their number two issue is access to temporary foreign workers.
Yeah, because they want to pay less. What business doesn't want to pay less? I'm a business owner. I want to pay my employees and people that do work for me. I actually want to pay them more. I literally apologize to people for not being able to pay them more.
Okay.
Joining me now to discuss all of this is Canada First founder Joe Anajar to hear what he has to say about it. Check it out.
Recently, as of last year, I started a movement called Canada First. And it was about bringing Canadians together to start putting.
I just want to say about, like, did you hear him say about? Nobody in Canada has ever once said a boot. So just stop that bullshit right now.
Canadians and Canada at the forefront. I feel like we've been kind of put, to side, and of immigrants that have come to our COVID. We Canadian citizens seem to be on the back burner, and this is our country, and it's time for real Canadian patriots to rise up.
I can't disagree with that. Canadian citizens have been on the back burner. You see these stories of, people coming here from India, a democratic country. India, like the largest democracy in the world because they have the largest population in the world, coming here and claiming like refugee status and asylum and living in hotels in downtown Toronto or downtown Vancouver and having everything paid for them by yours and my tax dollars. So I can't disagree with that, right?
So this is why the movement has come about.
Oh, and by the way, we're at the point where we do this. We're in beer 2 of the 2 Beer podcast.
And this would be my 4th event that will be happening here on September 13th. It's going to be at Christie Pits Park in Toronto on Saturday, September 13th. I expect a great showing. I have speakers lined up from city councilors to patriots to just people who want to get the message out and let people know that it's okay to speak about this situation, to speak on the mass immigration that's happened to our country. And at the end of the day,
I can't disagree with that either, because honestly, going back to the Charlie Kirk situation, that was almost like why he was assassinated, was because people didn't like the fact that he had free speech. We have to protect free speech. The biggest part, one of the biggest parts of a democracy is free speech, freedom of speech, freedom of movement, right to protest peacefully, which is why I hope and pray this protest, this rally tomorrow is peaceful. I just want it to be a peaceful protest or a peaceful rally. And I already know the writing is on the wall for the left and the right to clash tomorrow. I kind of wanted to go there. I was thinking about going there simply to live stream. But at the same time, I'm like, that might not be the best idea.
to be a patriot for your country, to want to stand up for your country, because a lot of people, they veer away from this topic, right? It's controversial, but it shouldn't be. If you look around the world, you see patriots rising up for their nations, for their history, for their culture, for their identity. We're next. We're the ones that need to fill the shoes that has been ripping across Europe. We're in the batter's box, and on September 13th, the Patriots will rise.
Joe contends that this follows years of Canadians witnessing the erosion of their history, coupled with the spread of divisive proxy culture wars spilling out onto our streets.
We are the people who have not only got along with the French, but have come together to make this great country. But now what we're doing now is just it's like we're losing everything that our forefathers fought for.
It's like he wanted to say the word insane. And yeah, it is insane. It is insane. And I agree with him on a lot of these points.
Everything people have built over time, you see, with like our heritage, our statues being torn down, things like this, our anthem being changed, our passport being changed, our entire identity and culture is being erased. And it makes, we got people on the left making us feel guilty for being a patriot, for wanting the best for our country, to wanting to keep our identity.
I think that is the number one key point there, is that there are people, and he said on the left, that want to make us feel bad for loving our country. He didn't say those exact words, but that I'm paraphrasing. And that's pretty much, what he's getting to, is like, there are people that want to make us feel bad. And we've seen this, if you've been online over the last year or two, you've seen this exact thing in England, in the United Kingdom, Great Britain, like basically our dad, right? Like basically Canada's dad is the United Kingdom. And you see this happening over there, where you're getting arrested for posting a meme online. Like, come on, come on, come on. I need to say it one more time. Like, come on, freedom of speech. Like, you're going to post a meme online and get arrested? Like, that is, again, I'm going to use the word retarded. Like, that's ridiculous. It's unreal.
Culture alive. And this is what the Canada First movement is about. It's about restoring the greatness of this country and bringing our patriots together. Because when we're all together, you've seen what we've done in the past. And this is why I want to try to bring that fire, that passion again back to the streets of Toronto. In my opinion, it's long overdue. We have not done anything, and we allow protests from other countries every single week.
Yeah, honestly, this is obviously, you see all those Palestinian flags right there, and we see it all the time. We see it all the time here, whether it's Toronto, Montreal, Vancouver, Ottawa, and not just the Palestinian protesters, but like you see all these Muslim prayers just blocking off the street. It's like, are you again? I'm going to use the word again, and again, I apologize because I know it's offensive to some of you people. But how retarded do you have to be to block off the street because you want to pray? Like, go to a mosque, go to a church, go in an alley. I don't care, but like, traffic is horrible in Toronto and Montreal and Vancouver. I've driven in all of those cities. I know. Do not block traffic.
We can rip through our streets, not only in Toronto, but Ottawa, Montreal, Vancouver.
Isn't that funny? After I said the exact same cities, he said it as well. And again, I have not watched this video before. This is a reaction video. Again, I've never done a reaction video in my life.
It has to stop. This is a time for Canadians to put us in the forefront and to protest about Canadian issues like mass immigration.
Speaking specifically about Saxe and Angus, Joe says their dismissive rhetoric toward concerned Canadians only deepens the divide, ignoring the real issues of cultural erosion and economic exploitation.
First off, I mean, these people, if you look at their track record and you look at what they've done over time in their political careers, everything has been a detriment to Canada. It hasn't helped Canada. It hasn't been a positive thing to society. And I mean, we're talking about Diane Sachs, who's been with the Green Party, who, I mean, let's be real here, they're irrelevant. And then you got Charlie Angus, who has been a long life disturber.
And again, we need to know the exact date Charlie Angus went insane. So if anybody in the comments can tell me, or in the chat, please tell me the exact date Charlie Angus went insane. That would be greatly appreciated.
Who just likes to stir the pot. You got him, supporting Nazis in Ukraine. You got him doing all the things that are against.
Isn't that funny that he's saying Charlie Angus is supporting Nazis in Ukraine, yet Charlie Angus is calling everyone in Canada on the right a fascist Nazi? Like, you can't make this stuff up.
Against Canadians and against our nation. And it's just the left doesn't seem to get what we're doing. They love to throw around the racist word. Everything is racist. Everything is this and that.
That is so true. That is so true. Like, the last 2 weeks, I had not been on Facebook literally in years. And then I literally pretty much decided I'm just going to stir the pot on Facebook. And as soon as I put out some of my more conservative, and I don't even want to say right wing, I'm right leaning, so like right of center views that aren't, I would not call myself right wing. I would call myself right leaning. But as soon as I put those out on Facebook, I was like attacked and everyone called me a fascist Nazi. It was honestly, I found it quite amusing and entertaining. But that, I guess that's just me.
They don't take 2 minutes to really come and talk to me to say, what is your events about? What is the goal? They don't do that. They just label, just like the mainstream media did with us at the convoy. It's just on repeat.
Oh, the convoy. The convoy. I was there on day one in Ottawa. Honestly, it was amazing. And anyone that says the convoy was a bad thing doesn't know what they're talking about.
Right? So at the end of the day, I've learned to just, like these guys are lost causes. There's no talking to them. All right? They've been brainwashed to the point where they're so virtuous to death.
Brainwashed.
They would rather stand up for another country than their own. And I'm done with that. They have no place.
That is sad too, right? They would rather stand up for another country than their own. And we're seeing that, standing up for Palestine, standing up for Ukraine, standing up for whatever else. Like, think about that in the United States of America. Whether you're Democrat, Republican, the only thing Americans care about is America. Whether they are, and like I just said, whether they're Democrat or Republican, the only thing Americans care about is America. And that's where we need to get to in Canada. Whether you're liberal or conservative, you need to care about Canada.
Like people like Charlie Angus and people like Diane Sachs, they have no place in government. They have no place making decisions.
Okay, he said Charlie Angus again. So I need to ask, what was the day that he went insane? Because I need to know.
Decisions for Canadians, because clearly they're against us.
But not all politicians are the same, and Joe says there are a few who have reached out to discuss this issue and partake in his event.
Let's say just politician who reached out to me, and God bless her heart, Lisa Robinson, city councillor. She'll be speaking at the rally. I have a few other patriots who really want to express, the importance behind it.
Lisa Robinson, I believe she is a city councillor in Pickering. And Pickering, let me know in the chat or in the comments, is Pickering part of the GTA or is it just on the outside, on the outskirts? But to me, a guy driving in and out of Toronto, to me, Pickering is part of Toronto. Either way, yes, yeah, Lisa Robinson, Pickering City Councillor.
This topic and why we need to bring this to everyone's attention. Every day, someone seems to be wanting to get behind me, and I'm still waiting for other creators and YouTubers in the space to get behind this. Like, I don't know what you're waiting for. I'm also waiting for conservatives to step up. I mean, are you guys not conservative? Do you guys are all prancing around talking about immigration. If there was ever an event for you to show up at, this on September 13th would be the one. That's Pierre Poilievre.
I think the problem with that again is the location, right? Like, I'm sorry, I have Poilievre stuck on it. There we go. We'll get Poilievre on. At least his eyes are open there. But again, I think it goes back to the location. Like, why did you pick Christie Pits Park? That honestly, and again, me being right of center, not right wing. I'm not like so far right that I'm insane, but a little bit right of center. I do have to ask, that location, that choice of location does not jive well, to be honest.
Any Conservative Party representative, I invite.
And so that's, I guess, why I'm saying why these Conservative Party representatives, like he's asking, like Pierre Poilievre, come to my No, Polyev's not going to show up at that. He knows the history. He's not, like Polyev. No.
I invite you to stand with us, stand with Canadian patriots who want the same thing for our country.
On the topic of location, Joe says he chose Christie Pits Park not because of historical references, like the 1933 riot that exposed deep ethnic tensions, but because it's a vibrant, accessible public space where voices
Okay, here we'll actually get into, and I guess we'll see. Let's just keep playing it.
can converge to openly discuss Canada's future without the shadow of past conflicts.
I'll be honest with you, Tamara. I didn't even know about
He didn't even know about the history. Okay, we'll keep going.
what happened at the
And honestly, that's fair. Like, it's 2025. How many of us know what happened in 1933, right? Like,
Christie Pits.
at a random park in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Nobody knew what happened there. I honestly, I had to look it up also, right? Obviously, we all did.
I had no idea. People ask me, why did you pick Christie Pits? I'll be honest. It was
I was one of those people. I sent him a DM. Why did you pick that location?
a beautiful park. It's accessible by train. People can get there without worrying about parking. That was my genuine choice. Why? And then
Okay, honestly, that makes sense. Like, if you didn't know the history, and the subway system in Toronto runs basically east-west on I think one line, and then north-south on two lines, but they connect at the bottom. I'm going to say the bottom, it's Union Station. So that does make sense. If you didn't know the history and he's saying, okay, the train's close, there's parking, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt.
people all of a sudden I start seeing on Facebook saying, oh, let's bring our bats and stuff like this. And I'm like, okay, typical left-wing stuff. They're a little bit wacky. But and that's the difference between us and them. We are peaceful. We stand united. We stand on guard. We hold that.
We stand on guard. I love that. And we stand peaceful. And again, I do not want to get this into a whole divide of right and left, but it does seem to be over the last few years or the last year or so that the left has become quite violent. And and when I say that, I'm trying to be impartial. I'm doing my best to be impartial, but the left has become more violent than the right.
That line. These guys, as you saw in Australia, look, these are antagonizers. These are people who try to infiltrate movements. I'm not new. I've been around. I've seen these guys. I know them. I can spot them from 100 miles away. And I just want people to know that.
Miles, buddy, you're in Canada, 100 kilometers away.
To expect this. Expect it, because this isn't a small gathering, guys. This will be the biggest event Toronto has seen since before COVID. I mark my words on this. The time for action is long overdue. We do talk a lot about these issues online, on X, on Instagram, and we're also brave to talk about it online. It's time to bring that message, that passion, that fire onto the streets, because if you look across the Western world, they are making a massive impact. You had Italy, Spain, Poland, England's been on a tear. And then you got Tommy Robinson's march the same day as ours, guys. They expect to have 1 million people there.
Wow. 1 million people in London tomorrow. That's insane.
The West is waking up. So I beg you guys, if you have the time on September the 13th, come stand with Canadian patriots who love this country. This is a family-friendly event. We will be well protected. We will stand by each other and we will protect our own. We will not back down. But this is something we all need to take the time to do, guys. And I couldn't be any more genuine. I put my blood, sweat, and tears into this. I only started this about a month ago.
Yeah, that's another, I think, insane part is literally this a month ago and has already grown to this massive, or what could potentially be a massive rally tomorrow afternoon in Toronto.
On my own. And with the help of everybody, this could be a magical, historic moment, guys. I'm not trying to do what we did at the convoy. That will never happen again. But it doesn't mean we can't rise again.
I love that point. I love that point. What happened at the convoy will never happen again. But that doesn't mean we can't rise again.
And that's what we will do on September 13th. May the Patriots rise.
Well, wow. What tabs am I even on? Did you guys see all of that? Did I just stop sharing that? I hope everybody saw all of that. Oh my goodness, I'm going to have to watch all that back again. Whew. Yeah. Well, we're almost at the end of the Two Beer podcast on Friday evening. Almost to 6:00 Eastern time. And yeah, that does officially end the Two Beer podcast. I'm happy I got to react to that. Honestly, it gave me a lot to think about. It does make me love this flag. I love that flag. I love that maple leaf. I love maple syrup.